Spice King gonna get you right. Spice King gonna get you right. Whether morning, noon, or night. Whether morning, noon, or night.
I'm the Spice King. Spice King. Spice King. Spice King. What's happening? It's the Spice King Keith Lorren, and today I'm going to show you how to make my famous gumbo. I got some friends from all over coming in town, and I'm going to cook it all up. This is how I'm going to do it. Gumbo is one of those dishes that people in Louisiana make and people all over the world try to emulate. And everybody has their own version of gumbo, and I'm going to show you the Spice King's version, and I guarantee you're going to love it. So I'm starting off with some andouille sausage and some hickory smoked bacon. I like to keep my bacon cold because it makes it easier to slice, but I'm gonna just cut it up in bite-sized pieces so when I saute it, it cooks down real good. Next, I'm gonna take some chicken breasts. I'm cooking for about 15 people, so I'm gonna make sure I have enough pieces for each person to get one. So I'm taking a chicken breast and cutting it into 4 and then slicing it horizontally so that it's thinner. And then I'm taking my mallet and I'm just tenderizing the chicken breast a little bit so it's really nice and tender and succulent when it cooks. Next, I like to clean my meat with vinegar and water. It's very important. It washes all the extra bacteria and stuff off, and just want to keep it nice and clean and fresh. Next, I'm going to season the chicken with the Spice King seasoned sea salt, and we're going to use some of the Spice King Cajun Mardi Gras seasoning, which is now available in H-E-B stores. It's going to be spectacular, I promise. Next, I'm going to massage the seasoning in well. Give my meat a massage, you know what I mean? That makes it taste better. Next, I'm adding just a little pinch of chicken bouillon powder, and I'm gonna add some fresh thyme. Now, my spices are so potent, you don't have to marinate it, but if you want to, you can. Next, I'm gonna take our bacon and saute it in our pan, and I wanna get it nice and rendered and crispy, and I'm gonna save that oil. In another dish, I'm gonna begin making our roux, so I'm just adding vegetable oil and all-purpose unbleached flour, and I'm gonna cook it down till it's a chocolate cover, just like this, constantly stirring. And once that's chocolatey, you're gonna add some onions, multicolored peppers, and celery. You're gonna saute that all up together, and then now we can take our crispy bacon out, and you see how the sizes are? It's perfect, it's already cut up. And then we're gonna, in the same oil, we're gonna saute our andouille sausage. I like to use this as a black brand called Home Style. Next, I made a broth with clam stock, chicken stock, beef stock, and I cooked a smoked turkey wing and a ham hock in there. And I just cooked it down for hours, and that's our broth we're gonna use for all of our dishes, like our vegetables and our gumbo. Next, I'm taking out our sausage that we sauteed and putting it off to the side because we're gonna add that in towards the end. And in the same oil that we sauteed the bacon and the sausage, and we're gonna brown our chicken. Now, like I said, I'm cooking for about 15 people, so I'm making sure that I have 1 chicken breast for each person. And I wanna cook it until it's golden brown on each side, and then we're gonna add it back into the pot with our roux and our broth and just let it cook down and get tender. So I had to do the chicken in 2 batches just so I didn't overcrowd the pan. And now as it's cooking, I like to add the fresh cracked black pepper on top so it gets nice and toasty. Go ahead and add that right on in the pot and we're good to go. Next, we're just gonna stir it around and let it cook down in its own juices. It's gonna be so succulent. Now to make our rice, I like to use the ratio of, for every cup of rice, I use 1 3/4 cup of liquid. It could be any liquid, but 1 3/4 cup of liquid to every cup of rice. And I'm adding a spoonful of my green seasoning, which is a puree of everything green. And then we're gonna add some fresh garlic to our gumbo, but we're gonna add a spoonful of the fresh green seasoning to our rice. So this black liquid that I'm adding in here is dark soy sauce. It's just gonna enrich the color and give you a nice umami backdrop, just a little bit, a few drops. Now I'm taking our rice, I'm adding it into our water with our green seasoning and salt. And I already gave you the measurement, 1 cup of rice for every 1 3/4 cup of liquid. Now for our gumbo, you have to season it as it goes. So I'm adding some fresh parsley in here, adding a little bit more colored peppers and onions and celery. And that's how we re-season the pot. We're just gonna let it continue to cook and do its thing. These are green scallions. That also makes a huge difference in the taste. After it's done, you taste it. So good. I promise you're gonna love it. Your guests gonna go crazy for it too. So now that our rice is firm, you can see that that ratio I gave you is perfect every single time. You know, put that off to the side, and then to our gumbo pot, we're adding a bag of shrimp, some jumbo shrimp, shelled and deveined. And I'm also adding some frozen okra. You can use fresh okra, but at the time, that's all I could find. So we're adding our okra. We're gonna add some more fresh parsley, a little bit more peppers and onions just to taste it as it go. And then at the end, when the shrimp is 80% cooked, you can add your lump jumbo crab meat. And you don't wanna stir it too much because you don't wanna break it up, but you wanna warm up the crab meat with that. Next, re-season a pot with a little bit of Spice King seafood seasoning and a little bit of paprika. And it's gonna be magnificent, y'all. The best gumbo you've had, hands down. That broth with the clam stock, the chicken stock, the beef stock, all of that just makes it just so delicious. And that chocolatey gumbo, doesn't get any better than that. Look at that. So now we can begin adding a little splash of hot water. You know, you can make the gravy as thick or as thin as you want, but I like it to have a nice medium nappe, so I just add a little bit more hot water to that, and it's perfect. At the end, you can add some fresh parsley, some fresh scallions. Ladies and gentlemen, epic. Now it's time for our side. So I wanted to serve some garlic green beans. So I'm adding some olive oil to our pan, and I added a bag of organic green beans, and I'm sauteing it up, crisping it up, searing it up, you know. And when it's seared, maybe like 5 minutes, you go ahead and add some fresh garlic. Now you're gonna toss it around so that the garlic browns along with the green beans. And at the end, you add some of that homemade stock that we made, that meat stock. And then you're gonna season it with the Spice King Gourmet Seasoned Sea Salt. Or you can use the Spice King Collard Green Seasoning. Either one is great. Now for our rice, we're gonna toss it with a big knob of butter and fresh parsley. Just toss it. Now for our green beans at the end, go ahead and add a little bit more of the seasoned salt and some fresh cracked black pepper. We're also gonna add a little bit more parsley for the rice. You know, you wanna be able to see it, so add it in stages. And then we're gonna finish it with a little bit more of the Gourmet Seasoned Sea Salt. Now back to our green beans, finish it with some lemon juice and a nice knob of butter, and it's done. You can plate it. This dish is money, y'all. This is like going to Louisiana. So delicious. Put that crispy bacon on top, some parsley, some green scallions, and you got something really special. I love you. Thanks so much for watching. If you want the most epic, mouth-watering, delicious party ever, you got to cook with the Spice King. Go to Walmart, Stop and Shop, Big Y, Jewel, Osco, and H-E-B, and make sure to pick up these stores. Or you can go to online at keithlorren.com. I'll see you in the stores. Spice King gonna get you right.